In this lesson, I want to talk about Eloquent Collections, and to be honest, I didn't want to talk about it because this is something that you have to go ahead and study yourself because it's quite a lot of them actually here. But some of the useful ones that I use typically when I use applications with Laravel that I'm gonna show you. The first thing you need to know is all. So if you actually go to this URL laravel.com document 5.1 or any recent version you downloaded, Eloquent Collections, you can see that we have all. Let's go back again. We have all chunk, collapse, chunk which actually chunks, collapse, collapses, contains, check to see if something contains or not, count, counts, diff is not really useful. Each, you can actually go ahead and check it if you want to use it. We have every, which is useful. We have first, which gets the first element. So let's click one of them and go ahead and go through this. So let me just zoom in a little bit. So we have first, first method actually gets the first element, first index, and or first element, first element and the collection, and then passes to the given through tests. Then we have last as well as first. We have forget, which if you pass a key to it, is going to forget the whole thing, key and value. And we have for page, which is really useful for pagination. We have get, as you see earlier, we use this for collection like such as where, order by, and etc. at the end of every collections for database. We also have group by, and group by groups everything. We also have has method chooses if the given key exists in the collection or not. So if you pass a key to it, it's going to return false here because the key email does not exist here. The keys are account ID and product ID or product. Implode is like a PHP's join method, so it's actually implodes, but you can see that we have two kinds of array in one collection, and the collection is also array, so two array in one array. And then we have the key called product. So we get the key because we have the same key here, and we say, okay, let's separate these values by comma here. So it gets the desk and separated with the chair with a comma. So you come down here, we have implode again. If you use it row here, you can see that we have implode gets one argument. In the case of one argument, gets the all collections and separated with a dash or hyphen. We have is empty, which is really useful. It checks to see if something is empty, such as array or collection. And we have key by, and we have keys. We have last, opposite of first. We have map. We have merge, is actually merging everything together. So we have two kinds of collections. And if you have one collection, if you want to merge this together with this two, it's going to merge them together. So if they have something in common, it's going to merge them together. So as you can see that we have price and the product ID, name and discount. So you get the product ID and then name, price, and discount. So this is all what merge does. We have pop, which is really useful. Pops something out of the array. Typically, it's going to be the last element. And returns it back. You have to remember it's going to return it back to you. So if you pop it out, it's going to pop it out for you and returns it back to you. You have prepend, which adds to your collection or array, and it gets an argument. So in this case, you can see that we have 0, and we prepend it to this collection or array. We have pool. It will pulls something out of the collection. In this case, you have to pass a key and then pulls it out. We have push, does the opposite thing of pull. In this case, you pass a 5 and then it's going to push it at the end of the array. We have put, will get two parameters such as price and 100. It's gonna put it inside the collection with a price and with a key and value. We have random, which actually gets randomized element and returns it back to you, and we have shuffle as well. If you're gonna see it a little bit go down, which shuffles the array. Don't confuse the random and shuffle because they do something different. So if you use random, you might think, okay, it's going to randomize for me and give it back to me all the elements, or it's going to shuffle and give it the all elements. No, random is going to give you just one element back, and it's going to randomize it and then give it back to you. But shuffle, I don't know if you ever played card or not. It's going to shuffle. Have you ever shuffled the cards? So that's what shuffle does. Reduce, it's not really useful, or reject. You have reverse. Reverses the elements back. So in this case, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's going to give us 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have search. It's very useful. It searches to see whether we have some elements available or not, and it's going to give us the amount, or counts the amount of the element we have already. So in this case, if you say search for, it's not going to give you a true or false. It's going to give you a number of that element. So if in this case you can see we have one element 4. If you want to give you a true or false, you need to pass it as a second argument. We have shift, which is actually gets the first element out of the array and returns it back to you. It's something like removing an element, first element, and returns it back to you. And if you now want to see the collection, you don't see the first element anymore. We have shuffle, as I said earlier. You can see that. We have a slice. Slice it with 4 is like slicing something up and put the everything away. So in this case, we have 4. It's going to be it's going to retrieve fifth element. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the rest of it is going to go away. So, and then the slice here, sort, will sort everything alphabetically or numerically. If you don't have something sortable, like one string, obviously in your collection you're either using a string or number, and that's all you actually use. So if you're using a string, it's going to sort it all alphabetically. If you're using numeric or integer, it's going to sort it numerically. We have sort by to specify how do you want to sort it, by price. If you have 3 arrays inside the collect and each have different name and different price, if you say sort by price, it's going to sort by smallest first, which is 100, then to the highest, which is 200. If you say name, it's going to sort it by alphabetically. So in this case, this one first because it got B, this one second, and desk third one. We have sort by descending, we have splice, and we have sum, which is sums everything up. Finally to the end, we have take. So take is going to take 3 elements. Not, this is something I wanted to mention, is when you say take and then pass a 3 to it, it's not counting by index, like this is index 0, this is index 1, this is index 2, and this is index 3. It's going to count only 3 elements, which is 1, 2, and 3, and takes it out of the collection. So the rest of it is going to go away. So when you say chunk all, it will show you 3 elements. So it takes it out. To array, which is going to be really useful. You know that we have an array, PHP array function, right? The toArray method converts the collection into a plain PHP array. So in this case, when you have a collection like this and you pass a toArray, it's going to make it one array like this into another array, and then we have 2 JSON and 2 transform and unique. Unique is something you use for database as well, but let's say you have 2 elements of 1, 3 elements of 2, and 1 elements of 3 and 1 elements of 4. It's going to get all of that and get rid of those who are repetitive and give you back the one who are unique. So in this case, it gives you 1 1, 1 2, and 1 3 and 1 4, and it gets rid of those 3 elements that are repetitive. Then next we have, what else we have? We have values. Values method returns a new collection with the key reset to the constructive integer. It is really self-explanatory. Then we have where, which we use for database. I'm not going to waste my time here again. And that's all you need to know about collection. So these collections are really important to have a look at. I wanted you to have a look at these collections before we continue, because you may see them in the future and you wonder what are they doing in the application or model or controllers. So I wanted to make sure that you know this address, and by time you're going to come back to this documentation and check all of these collections yourself and memorize it together.